everyone, welcome back to my channel. I've had a few people ask me to do a declutter video, and although I would have loved to have done it sooner, just so much stuff has been going on in the real world, so it's taken me a while to do it, but now I'm here filming it, and hopefully I can get my life back in order because my makeup collection has gotten absolutely out of hand. So before I jump into this video, I just wanted to say a few things. First, some of these palettes are by brands and or people that have done ugly things, and because of that, some of you may not like or support them, and I get that. With that being said, please try to remain respectful if I show a product that you don't like and I do, and vice versa. What may work for you may not work for me, and I can only be honest about my own personal experiences with these products and brands. Due to the amount of eyeshadow palettes that I currently own, this video will be split into like 2 or 3 parts, maybe even 4, I'm not sure yet. So just make sure that you're subscribed to my channel and that you have your post notifications on. I will try to give these palettes to a forever home if possible, because I don't like the idea of wasting money or just contributing to waste. You'll notice that some of these palettes that I've done swatch videos for or tutorials with aren't in this video, and that's because I've decluttered some things behind the scenes. Either someone really wanted the palette and reached out to me and I sold it to them, or it was gifted to them. Some I choose to replace, and others I didn't really care enough to. Some of these palettes were just used to do swatch videos, and some I'm just not interested in anymore, but I'm listing all the palettes that I'm decluttering onto my Mercari. Majority of them will be listed between anywhere from $5 to $15 with a few exceptions. I do have a Mercari referral code that'll save you $10 off your first purchase, and that'll be listed down below in the description box. There are palettes in my collection that I've never gotten a chance to try out, so I'll more than likely try to keep those to create some looks with, but there are a few that were never used that I just ultimately lost interest in that I received because they either look different in pictures, and then once they got to me I was no longer excited, so those I will declutter. It'll take a bit of time to list everything on my Mercari, but I'll try to do it as quickly as possible. This video, I swear, isn't to brag or boast. I'm simply an eyeshadow lover whose collection merely got out of hand, and I'm somewhat embarrassed about it, but you know what? I'm only human. The fact that I'm trying to get rid of some, hey, pat myself on the back for that. I do, as of right now, have over 400 palettes physically in my collection, like in my possession, and that's not including palettes that are on their way in that I've unfortunately caved and ordered. But my goal throughout this whole declutter series is to get rid of at least 50 to 75 and maybe even 100 palettes altogether. So without me continuing to ramble on, I'm going to start my declutter. For the first palette that I'm going to show you, it is the Tarte Tarteist Paint Collector Set. It comes with the drawer. There was I think a blush, eyeshadow brush, a liner, and a lip gloss. Obviously ran through those because I absolutely love them, so that's not in here, but I do love the cute little packaging and drawer that you can store stuff in. This is the palette itself. The color story is very neutral, very pretty. The quality was decent, not anything to write home about, but I did enjoy it when I used it maybe once or twice. The shades that I absolutely loved in this palette were Contrast, Make the Gradient, Doodle, and Gothic. Everything else didn't really care for. I don't reach for this palette. I think I probably did like 1, maybe 2 looks, if that, with this palette. And yeah, so I'm obviously gonna get rid of this. Next is my Beauty Glazed, the purple palette, and it's actually a dupe for the Kylie Cosmetics, Kylie Jenner, I don't know what her brand is called, her purple palette. I love these 4 shades right here. I swatched them, but I don't recall doing a look with it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this to the side. If I somehow find these 4 shades in other palettes, I will definitely declutter this. So this is just going to go in my maybe pile. Next, I have a Sonia Kashuk eyeshadow palette. It's called the Gems and Jewels. I swatched it. The quality was nice, but I don't reach for it, so I'm going to get rid of it. One of many of my Maybelline The Nude series. This is the Graffiti Nudes. Quality was decent. I absolutely love this green shade and this blue and this maroon shade. The brush, I used it to swatch the colors. I don't reach for this. This was back when I was still trying to figure out if I was a neutrals or a colors girl. Obviously, I'm team color now. So, yeah, I will be getting rid of this because I don't use this. I don't reach for it. And honestly, up until I decided to do this video, I kind of forgot I even had this in my collection. So it's gonna go. Another Maybelline, the Nudes, and this is the 24K Nudes. Very pretty, love the quality. This black with the gold micro shimmer, this bronzy gold, this black, this brown, and these maroons, this maroon and this champagne color were my absolute favorite colors in the palette. Another palette I forgot I even had in my collection, so that goes to show you I don't reach for it, so I will definitely be getting rid of this. So this palette I got from, I believe, Dollar General, Dollar Tree, one of those stores. I think it was like no more than $10, if that. Color Story is very pretty. Love the maroon shade. Love this cranberry shade. Love this bronzy shade right here. This is the Broadway Colors eyeshadow kit in the shade Matisse or Metis. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Forgot I had this. Pretty palette, just nothing to write home about. I don't reach for it. I'm getting rid of it. And another Maybelline Nudes. This one is the Rock Nudes. This one is cool toned. Pretty shades in here. Don't reach for it. Forgot I had it. Obviously, I'm gonna get rid of it. So next, this is the True Naked CoverGirl Roses palette. Forgot I had this. Very pretty shades. Almost kind of reminds me a little bit of, oh my gosh, what the heck is the name of that palette? It's like the love child of like Modern Renaissance and the Naked, one of the Naked palettes. Don't reach for it. Forgot I had it. I'm gonna get rid of it. Pretty Color Story though. Geez, I think I've only kept one thing so far. Wow. Proud of myself. This is gonna go very smooth, I hope. So this is the We Care Your Favors 18 Shadow Full Function Palette by Folklore. I think that's how you pronounce it. And this is the Bright Lux palette. And this is a dupe for the, what is it called? The Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette. Not the remastered one, but the original one before she remastered it. The thing about this is when I first saw the palette, I was like, okay, that's pretty, but I honestly didn't want to spend the money. And then when a dupe came out for it, I was all over it. Funny enough, I got the palette, swatched it, and never even did a look with it. It's just been sitting in my collection, just wasting its life away, so I'm gonna get rid of it. I do remember some of the shades being nice. I can't remember which ones I'm going to do. Dubai, Wine, and Carbon. I think those were the ones, yeah. Those were the ones that were really pretty. Like, look at Dubai right there. Okay, I thought this was going to be like a clean cut declutter. But, yeah, I'm going to have to hold on to this for a little bit. Try to do a look or two and see how that turns out. Because I knew some of the shades were pretty, but I didn't recall the quality being like that. Like, Dubai is just, she's pretty. So we're going to hold on to that for now. So we have the Beauty Glazed Colorboard palette. There was some controversy about Beauty Glaze a couple of months ago about asbestos being in their products. I tried to find as much information as I could on this palette in particular, and every time I did a search for the color board asbestos or anything related to those search terms, I could not find anything that said that there was asbestos directly in this palette itself. But to be on the safe side, I actually privated the swatch video that I made for this palette because I couldn't in clear conscience just be sitting there promoting a palette regardless of how affordable and how good the quality I thought it was. I just couldn't see me promoting something that could potentially make people sick. The reason I've held on to this palette is because I would love to be able to find a clear-cut answer on whether or not this is a contaminated palette or was it just the Gorgeous Me palette from Beauty Glaze. So at first I was going to just throw this out, but then I thought to declutter it, but then I said no, that would be the same as just promoting it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold on to this. Hopefully I can find more information and get a real ironclad answer for this palette in particular. So in the meantime, I'm just going to hold on to it. So next I have two e.l.f. palettes, and I think these are actually the only two e.l.f. palettes that I have in my collection. I may be wrong. Obviously there is no order to this stuff. It is pure chaos. I just did it how I pulled it out the drawer. I hope you don't mind. But yeah, this is the e.l.f. Matte for Matte palette, and it has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 shades. As you can see, it's very neutral. Hey, you can see me. As you can tell, it's very neutral. Very cool tone, not my cup of Earl Grey, don't care for it, so I'm gonna get rid of this. This is the e.l.f. Matte for Matte eyeshadow palette, and this is Jewel Pop. If I can get it open, that would be great. Holy crap, I can't get it open. Come on. Okay, this is crazy. I really can't get the palette open. Ah, there we go. So this is the Jewel Pop. This is another 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 color pan palette. Of course, it is my cup of everything. It is my cup of green tea. It is my cup of Earl Grey. It is my cup of orange zing. I'm keeping this palette. Look at this orange. Look at this maroon, this purple, this blue, this green, and this black. This whole palette, it swatched so freaking good. Obviously, I'm going to keep this. I'm really upset that it fucking took, excuse my language, I'm really upset that it took so much for me to get that open. That's crazy. One of a million ColourPop palettes. This is the Shayla, excuse me, X ColourPop Perception palette. And if my memory serves me correct, I literally just did a swatch video on this palette and didn't pick it up ever again. It's just been at the bottom of my drawer collecting dust. But I do keep telling myself that I do want to try it out and play around with it. Reason being that there are a lot of beautiful shades in this palette. There, for instance, is this really nice burnt orange shade, this nice deep brown, almost like a burgundy, this duochrome shade, this black with the blue micro glitters on it. But yeah, I'm gonna give this palette a go before I decide to just fully get rid of her altogether. So I'm gonna keep her for now. So next we have quite a few Wet n Wild palettes. This one is my Flock Party. It's a limited edition palette. Used it for a swatch video, didn't pick it up ever again, getting rid of it. Another limited edition Wet n Wild palette. This is the Hasta La Costa Baby palette. Did it for a swatch video, never picked it up again. Oh, I'm sorry. I just realized I didn't tell you. Wait, I did tell you. I'm losing my damn mind. Sorry. So this one was Flock Party, and this one was Hasta La Costa Baby. Getting rid of it. These two shades were absolutely beautiful, but don't reach for it. You can give it to someone else that wants it. This is another limited edition palette. This is Velour Vixen. This one, I absolutely loved these two shades. The quality was good for the price because I think this palette was maybe like $3 when it came out. I'm going to keep the palette for these three shades. If I can find a way to somehow declutter these palettes and put them into like a small Z palette or anything like that, or just a magnetic palette, or maybe even make one myself, I will. But yes, I'm going to keep this one. This was another limited edition Wet n Wild palette. This is the Heart and Heavy palette. Don't reach for it. Don't care for it. I have other shades like this in my collection that I reach for more, so I'm going to get rid of this. Another limited edition Will You Marina Me palette by Wet n Wild. Colors are pretty. Quality was decent for the price. Love this gold, but there are better shades and better golds like this in my collection, so I'm going to get rid of this. This one was obviously limited edition, Plaid to the Bone by Wet n Wild. Absolutely love this whole palette. Do you see the duochrome shift? Yes, I was hoping that my lighting was good enough so that you can see the shift. Do you see that? Look at that, look at that. So obviously I'm keeping this palette because although I have other shades like this in my collection, I just love the quality of this palette overall. I loved this deep navy matte shade, and I loved like this pewter gold shade. So I'm gonna keep this for my collection. Hieroglyphic Heart was of course another limited edition. Pretty shades, performed well, don't reach for it, getting rid of it. This one was Spoiled Brat. I think this is like one of the first things that introduced me into the Wet n Wild like quads and little eyeshadow palettes. Colors are cute. I have colors like this in my collection. Don't need this, don't reach for this, getting rid of it. Another one, I'm His Breezy. Obviously, I absolutely adore, I love blue eyeshadows. I love blues, purples, greens, pinks. Pretty much, I'm just a color bitch. I love colorful eyeshadows. The quality of this one was decent. It wasn't anything to write home about. I have so many blue eyeshadows. I have so many blue monochromatic eyeshadow palettes. And I'm trying to get out of that habit of keeping things that I know that I have better quality of in my collection rather than just justifying, oh, blue is my favorite color, I want to keep it. So even though I love the palette, I do have way better quality in my collection. I have these exact shades tenfold. So for that, I'm going to get rid of the palette. Well, next is the CC Color Dope 2 palette. It is actually a dupe for the Manny MUA Life's a Drag palette. Now, this is the thing about this palette and why I even got it. So when the Manny MUA palette first came out, I saw the color story and I was like, okay, I know I have those colors. That's nice, whatever. I didn't see the hype in spending like $50. I think that's how much it was. Like $50 on a palette that I knew I had those colors, but I wanted to give the quality a go. And plus, I love the color story. When I finally decided to cave, the palette was out of stock for months on end. So then one day I was looking for a possible dupe for that palette and came across this one. This palette, I believe I paid $10 for. The quality is really freaking good. The color story, like I said, is really pretty, totally up my alley. I have not done a look with it, and I'm still trying to think, do I want to get the original Manny MUA and then do comparisons, or do I just want to use this palette on its own? Because I know if I wind up getting the Manny MUA, it's just going to be money that I'm spitting out to just ultimately get rid of one, because I know if I have them both in my collection, I'm definitely going to get rid of one. I just haven't decided what I want to do yet. But yeah, I'm going to hold on to this because like I said, I like the color story and I'm really interested on what I can pull out with these colors. I actually found some more Wet n Wild palettes. So this one is another limited edition one. It's the Stop Ruffling My Feathers. Really like the quality. The colors are pretty, just don't reach for it. So I'll be getting rid of this as well. This is the Boardwalk Boozing. Funny thing about this palette is I wanted it for so long, and I think I've had it for a little while now, and the only shade that I even touched was the blue one, and it was a quick swatch. The blue from what I swatched was really pretty and was really nice. I have all these colors tenfold in my collection, so therefore, as much as I do want to keep it, I'm gonna get rid of it. This is the Temporary Solutions. Absolutely love this palette. I love the white and the red that's in here. The yellow is really good too. Although I have a bunch of whites and reds and yellows, I'm still going to hold on to this because the quality was really, really top tier. And I just really loved how they performed. So I am going to keep this one. And this one is the High Flying Colors. I will not open it because it's still sealed. It's limited edition as well as the other ones. Color story is really pretty, but I have purples, pinks, blues, shimmers, stuff like that. So since it's already closed, it makes no sense to open it. I'm just going to get rid of it because I haven't played with it yet. I have two Oakland 8 color matte palettes. This one is the... Okay, so this one is a dupe for the Lime Crime Venus 2 eyeshadow palette. I was never really interested in Lime Crime as a company, but I did like this color story, and at the time when I got this palette, the original one was sold out once I finally decided to budge and get it. I played with this once. The quality was decent. I do want to give this another go, so I'm going to hold on to this because I do like the color story. This one is the, let's see. Okay, it's the Lime Crime Venus 1 palette, which is a dupe for the Lime Crime 1, obviously. I have these colors tenfold. I am a sucker for terracottas and deep maroons and deep browns and stuff like that. But between my Modern Renaissance and some other neutral palettes, I have those colors, so I won't be keeping this. I will be getting rid of this. The quality was really good for this, though. Next is the Ulta Prismatic eyeshadow palette. I got this, I think, as a gift in one of the Ulta, like, you know how, like, if you spend a certain amount of money, you get, like, certain things free. So this is one of the palettes I got. This blue I really liked, and I like this green as well. The colors are okay. We've been seeing them all over the place. It's not anything new. The quality, like I said, was okay. Nothing to write home about. I don't reach for this palette. Don't really care for it, so I'm gonna give this away. I have some Coastal Scents eyeshadow palettes that are limited edition. This one is the Charlie Girl palette. Cute color story. I have these colors time and time again. They swatched really, really beautiful. I love this color and this lime green color. Like I said, they swatched really, really beautifully, but I don't reach for it. I have these colors. I'll be getting rid of this one as well. Next is the Jolie Calibri palette. All these palettes from this limited edition collection I think were absolutely gorgeous, and I like the fact that the colors tied in with the palettes, but unfortunately I just never got around to really using them for an eye look. These two colors right here, these right here, absolutely love them. The quality was really good. I loved how they swatched, just didn't get around to using them. I have these colors in my collection, so of course I'll be getting rid of this as well. This one is the Jungle Roar palette from Coastal Scents yet again. Really pretty color story. Love how it ties into the palette yet again. This color, and this color, absolutely love. The quality of these palettes, all four of them in general, were beautiful. Love them, didn't give me any issues, but unfortunately I don't reach for them, and now because of my collection and me trying to get rid of stuff, I do have those main shades, so I can get rid of this and not feel like I'm missing out on anything. This is the Safari Dreams palette. Really pretty color story. If I remember correctly, this one was my least favorite out of the collection, and that's because this palette had the least amount of mattes. I think there was like 2 actual mattes, and then the other were like mattes or satins with like really small fine micro glitter, which I don't care for. It's like, why put the glitter in there anyway when if you blend them out it's just gonna come out anyway? I just feel like it's a waste of time. But the quality of this palette was really, really good. The shades, nothing too crazy, nothing to write home about, so I'm obviously gonna get rid of this. Next, I have 2 of many of my Makeup Revolution eyeshadow palettes. I don't have them all together, and like I said before, these are not in any specific order. It's just how I grabbed them out the drawer. But this is the Revolution Fortune Favors the Brave eyeshadow palette. I remember when I first saw this, I just had to get it because I was just in love with the color story and everything. I love this navy blue, I love this black, I love this maroon, this deep eggplant shade, and I love the marbled colors. I do have all of these shades in my collection. I don't reach for it much. I think I used it maybe not even for a full look. I think I just used the blue to help deepen the crease in the look or something, or maybe the maroon. I can't remember, and because I can't remember the last time or if I used it, I clearly need to get rid of it. But it is a really pretty palette. This is the Revolution After Party eyeshadow palette. Okay, so this was another palette that when it first came out, I thought it was really, really pretty. Looking at the palette, I swatched 1, 2, 3, 4 shades. Everything else is completely untouched. This is very neutral. I'm not gonna pick this up. The fact that I only swatched 4 shades and haven't even used it just shows me I don't need to keep it, so I'll be getting rid of this one as well. I found another Coastal Scents palette of mine. I do have a bunch of their singles as well, which I absolutely love, which are known as their hot pots. Well, as their hot pots, excuse me. This is the Creative One eyeshadow palette. Sorry for the glare. But I love the color story of this. I love the quality of these shades. I've used these shades more than numerous times. I really, really love this palette, and from what I saw on the website, it was limited edition. Some of the shades you can purchase separately, but then some of them were just totally discontinued. This is one of my favorite palettes, if not one of the very first colorful eyeshadow palettes I've ever owned, so I cannot get rid of this. I just really, really love it. I have some of my BH Cosmetics palettes. The first one is the Glam Reflection Rosé palette, and it looks like this. Very neutral. Love the quality of this. Excuse me. These two shades right here, this one and this one, absolutely adore. This icy white as well, I love it too. I don't reach for this palette. I wish I could keep it, but realistically, I do have these shades in other palettes that I reach for more, so I'm going to keep that or those and get rid of this one. Next is the BH Glam Reflection Lamore palette. This one I absolutely love. It's my favorite out of the ones that I purchased from the collection. I think the only one I did not purchase was like Gilded or something like that, and that's because I didn't care for the color story. But all of these are absolutely gorgeous. I love the quality of this palette. Although I do have these shades in my collection, I will be keeping this one because the quality of this one was just really, really top tier. I'll swatch some shades just so you can see what I'm talking about and how pretty it is. Look at those. Those are gorgeous. So yeah, I'll definitely be keeping this one. Next is the Glam Reflection Smoke palette. This was another one that performed very well. I love the quality of this one. This eggplant color, this deep hunter green, and this terracotta shade is my absolute favorite in the palette. This bronzy shade, this shimmer, everything in this was really, really good. I do know I have these shades in my collection, and I would love to hold on to this, but I'm on the fence. I'm thinking that I'll keep this for now and put this to the side, and when I come across those palettes that have these shades in them, I'll do a swatch comparison, and then from there wean out which one of the two I don't really care for and just get rid of that one. So as of right now, I'm just going to hold on to this one. So this one is the Urban Decay Alice Through the Looking Glass palette, and this I believe was one of two of my very first Urban Decay palettes. The other one that I got at the same time as this one was the Gwen Stefani one. This one is absolutely beautiful. Just in case you've never seen the inside of it, I'll show it to you guys. And it's the butterfly wings. I think it's really gorgeous packaging. And then the palette opens from right here. And these are the colors. Of course, the colors aren't anything great, but at the time, this was something that was never done. Just the layout overall, the color scheme was just totally what Urban Decay stood for. Since then, I feel like not many of their collections were so memorable because of the fact they just kind of went downhill, and there's other companies that totally edged them as far as like creativity and stuff like that. This navy blue shade Bandersnatch, absolutely gorgeous, still in love with it. Time is really gorgeous, Dream On is still really gorgeous. I don't really see me using this palette, but I also don't want to get rid of it because the packaging alone. I know that sounds absurd to keep something just for packaging, but it's also because there's like sentimental value with this being like one of the first Urban Decay palettes that I've ever purchased. So for those reasons, I'm going to hold on to this, if not to use it, just to have it as something as decoration. Next, I have some like superhero themed eyeshadow sets. This one is the Catwoman one. It emulates like a comic book and stuff like that. I love the packaging, and I thought this would be something that I would be interested in, but then it just turned into something that I used as decoration. But then looking at it, even though I do love it, I still need to be mindful of getting rid of stuff that I'm not going to use and just decluttering things overall. Never used any of these products whatsoever. There's a brush, there's an eyeshadow primer, a lip gloss, an eyeliner. I think this is a blush, and then you have 9 eyeshadow shades. I believe I swatched 1, 2 eyeshadows out of this. Let me see. Let me take the packaging, well, the plastic off, or move it to the side. Yeah, I swatched this shade. It's pretty. That's how it came out. But the color story, it really reminds me of the Kylie Jenner purple palette, which I already have a dupe for that palette. So because of those reasons, although this is really cute packaging and I love the idea and the theme of it, I will be getting rid of it because I just know I won't be using it. Next is the Batgirl themed comic book one. This one also has an eyeshadow primer, lip gloss, eyeliner. Okay, it does say blush right here. There is a blush, and there are eyeshadows in here as well. Again, never use the brush, the lip gloss, the eyeliner, primer, whatever, blush, none of this stuff in here. The color story is really, really cute. This gold is really, really pretty. So is that one. I love this blue and I love that blue. But have these shades yet again in my collection. I have not reached for it. I'm not going to reach for it. So I'm just going to get rid of this one. And last but not least from that collection, I have the Harley Quinn one as well, which also comes with a blush, eyeshadows, eyeliner, and lip gloss, and a brush. And this is how it looks on the inside. Haven't used any of those. I had swatched, okay, I think I swatched the black one, the silver, and this one, and that shade. The silver is calling my name, so I'm going to swatch that one again. Oh, that's pretty. It's really reflective. That's really, really pretty. And this black, it looks really deep in the palette. So I'm going to swatch that one too. Okay, it's not too bad. There's better blacks on the market, but for what it's worth, this is pretty. Have these shades tenfold. I have majority of these shades alone in just the Lamore palette by BH that I decided to keep. So because of that, I have no need to keep it. I do love the designs of the mirror. Each one has a different mirror shape. And then also, I forgot to show you, that each one, it has 2 different looks and it shows you how to create them on the inside as well. Really cute idea and concept. Just like I said, won't be reaching for them. Haven't reached for them. I'm going to get rid of it. Next palette is my BH Midnight Festival eyeshadow palette. The thing about these palettes, right? Even though I love how when you turn it one way, it looks one way, and then you turn it, it's like reflective and stuff like that. Hold on, let me see if I could get it to show you. Okay. But anyway, I hate textured packaging like this. I do keep my nails really short, but every now and then I'll forget to cut my nails, and just the feeling of my nails against the palette drives me absolutely insane. So palettes like these really, really grind my gears. But yeah, I know that was random, but still just want to let you know. The inside though, really, really love this palette. I do have these shades tenfold. I know I do, but the color story just screams at me. This is so me. This is so on brand. I'm not really a fan of pressed glitters, but these are really, really pretty. I love the, I don't recall ever seeing pressed glitter shades like these. And I do want to give this a go a couple more times. I used this, I think, once. Yeah, I believe I used this once. But any fiddles, I do know that I want to keep this. I want to play around with this some more. So yeah, I'm going to hold on to this. But just so you know, I absolutely hate this textured packaging. I have the Tammy Revolution eyeshadow palette. This is the Tropical Paradise palette. Yeah, I'm sorry for blinding you guys. I'm also not a fan of these mirrored packaging. It's such a pain in the behind. Yeah, I'll just hold it like this. It won't blind you like this. But this is the Tammy Revolution Tropical Paradise palette. And this was actually her first palette that she collaborated with Makeup Revolution with. Absolutely love Makeup by Tammy, or Tammy Clark on YouTube. That's her name now. Love the color story. Really, really pretty. But I don't even think, no, I didn't even touch this palette. Wow. Okay. So these colors right here I think are really pretty. Those right there are really pretty. I've had this palette since it pretty much came out, and I was over like a year ago. Didn't touch any of the shades, haven't taken it out. I wanted to use it, but then there were just other better quality palettes that came out. Not saying that this was bad quality, because what I saw from all of the reviews and all the looks done with this palette, I heard so many amazing things. I do have her 2 other palettes as well. So for those reasons, I have played with those and dipped into those. I'm going to keep those and get rid of this, especially since, like I said, I have these shades in my collection. There's no need to even mess with this. I'll just get rid of it. Next is the Profusion Mixed Metals, again with the mirrored packaging. Hate it. But very neutral eyeshadows. This I believe is a highlighter. This is a blush. The blush is too pinky for my liking. The highlighter is really pretty. The eyeshadows themselves very neutral. I have these colors. Don't reach for this palette. Don't care for the palette. Quality wasn't bad, just nothing that I need to keep in my collection, so I'm gonna get rid of this one. So this is one of many Juvia's Place palettes that I have. This is one of the newer ones that I purchased, even though this palette isn't necessarily new. The reason why I held out so long on getting this palette is because when I was first interested in it, it was out of stock. Then it came back into stock, but I did not receive the email in time to buy it. So by the time I did see the email, it was out of stock again, and it was pretty much just playing the waiting game until I just forgot about it altogether, and I figured I'd just get it once the hype was over. Ulta had a sale where these were like 2 for $14 or $10 each, one or the other, and I wound up getting this palette. So I have not played around with it, have not tried it, but I love the color story and I want to give it a go. So for those reasons, I'm going to keep it for now. So although this says Coastal Scents, it is just a Coastal Scents free hot pot system where you can like buy your individual hot pots and stick them in here. But these are actually Pinky Rose Cosmetics single eyeshadows. All of these eyeshadows are absolutely beautiful. I love the quality. These 2 shades in particular are my absolute favorite. I love blue eyeshadow. I cannot stress that enough. These are some of the best blue eyeshadows that I have in my collection. I really, really love them. Overall, I love the single eyeshadows, so I'm going to keep this, and hopefully I can find some other shades that I like to completely fill in this palette altogether. So I'm going to keep this. Next is my Pinky Rose Bright Lights eyeshadow palette. Absolutely love this one. This is colorful. This pretty much, I feel like, put Pinky Rose on the map. The quality was really good. I'm not a fan, like I said, of pressed glitters again, but the mattes overall, I love them. The quality was really great, so I'm going to hold on to this. Next is the Pinky Rose Center Stage eyeshadow palette. Very neutral palette. Love the color story. Don't really care for the pressed glitters. This Havana shade, this basic shade, this star shade, this boom shade, this weekend shade, absolutely chef's kiss. Love the quality. I know for a fact I have these shades in my collection, but because I don't have but 2 other Pinky Rose products in my collection, I'm still going to keep these. But like I said, those shades that I mentioned, really, really beautiful. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Next up is the Bad Habit Aura palette. This palette is actually a dupe for the Anastasia Beverly Hills Prism eyeshadow palette. Funny thing about that palette is when it first came out, I didn't really care for it. I was totally uninterested in it. And then I started seeing looks, and that tends to sway your vote when you see looks being done with a certain palette. Even if you have no interest in it, when you start seeing how creative you can be with a palette where you wouldn't even think to put these colors together and how it somehow works, I wind up becoming interested in the palette. Unfortunately, by the time my interest did peak, the palette became discontinued, I believe, around the same time as the Subculture palette. So I wind up getting this palette from this company, but then this company just fell off the face of the earth. I heard some rumors that they got sued and whatever and had to close down because they were duping so many high-end products, and companies of course didn't like that, which is understandable. But I did get my hands on this dupe. The quality is really, really good. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to play around with it, but I do really find the color story quite interesting, and I do want to play around with it. This Ethereal and Ecstasy and Energy shade, along with Mystique, are my favorite shades in the palette. They swatched really pretty. I'll show you real quick. This is Ethereal. And this is Ecstasy and Destiny. These are these shades. And they're really, really pretty. The quality is really good. So I'm gonna hold on to this palette. Next is the Amazonia palette by Face Candy. And if I remember correctly, this is actually a dupe for the Kylie Cosmetics Naughty eyeshadow palette. I know that palette was released in like Christmas a couple of years ago. The color story was really interesting. It was off the wall. It was really weird. So it was totally up my alley. Realistically, I just didn't want to buy it from Kylie Cosmetics. I don't know. It was just the whole thing with the lip kits and just being dishonest and just marketing these lip kits as, oh, if you buy this, you'll have nice full lips like me, when realistically she was just getting lip filler and making $1 billion off of people. So that's why I didn't want to spend the money on her product itself. I know that sounds real petty, but I'm just being honest with my logic. Toucan, Dangerous, Passion Fruit, Sunbeam, Water Lily. Absolutely gorgeous shades. As you can see, I've dipped into those shades the most. Toucan does have a bit of fallout. So this one is a shade that you would definitely hit pan on really easily. Other than that, the color is really pretty. I do like the quality. I am going to hold on to this palette because I do enjoy using it. Next is the Alter Ego Temptress eyeshadow palette. And this is actually a dupe for the ABH Sultry eyeshadow palette. Really like the quality of this palette. I just don't like the fact that there is more shimmers than there are mattes. The mattes performed very well. I actually did a look just using the blush color because that one called to me the most, because that one was obviously the only true pop of color in this palette. Other than that, the palette was good. I know I have shades like this in my collection, but I think I'm going to keep this palette just based off the shimmers alone. I really liked how they performed, so I'm going to hold on to this. Next is the Face Candy Sahara palette. This is actually the dupe for the Nice palette by Kylie Cosmetics, I want to say. I know it was, I know this color story was released along the same time as the Amazonia, which was the dupe for the Naughty palette. So yeah, I think this is the Nice palette from the Nice palette dupe, excuse me, by Kylie Cosmetics. Another thing, the color story is pretty, but realistically these aren't shades we haven't seen before. There were a couple of shades that I thought were real standouts, like Sunburn, Acacia shade, stuff like that. These performed really well. I love the quality of them. I do enjoy playing around with this palette. I am going to hold on to this a bit, see if I can create some more looks with it before I ultimately get rid of it. So just for now, I'm going to hold on to it. Next is the Warrior 2 palette by Juvia's Place. This I got along with the Warrior 3 palette. I think that's the one that I just showed you. I'm sorry, my memory is like... Okay, yeah. So this one I got along with the Warrior 3 palette when it went on sale at Ulta. It was like I said, 2 for $14 or $10 a piece, one or the other. When it first came out, there was so much craze around it. Didn't originally pick it up when it first came out, so obviously I haven't played around with it. It's a recent buy. I like the fact that it's all mattes. I do love the color story. Oh, excuse me. I do like the color story. I am going to play around with this palette. So for now, I am going to hold on to it because it's brand new. I finally caved and got it, so I might as well try it out before I ultimately decide to get rid of it. Next is the Be Crazy About palette by Makeup Obsession. This is one of those palettes that I have every single color in it, but yet I'm a rainbow whore. I saw that it was rainbow, I just had to get it. Funny thing is, I finally got the palette and lost all interest in it whatsoever. Really cute palette, like the color story. Didn't even take the packaging off it. As you can see, it's still glued, taped down, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, I have these shades. Don't know of the quality. From what I've heard, the palette is really good. There's no sense in keeping this because if I went through all that trouble to get it, then finally got it and then didn't care to even open it, that's a clear indicator that I'm no longer interested in it. So I'm just going to get rid of it. Next is a palette I created with Coastal Scents Hot Pots. I absolutely love Coastal Scents Hot Pots. I love their quality and stuff like that. I love how a lot of these shades performed. these pans, they don't seem big until you start to try to use them, and then you see yourself using them over and over again, and it's like you're not getting anywhere. These last a really, really long time. Like I said, I love the quality of them. I love the color story. As you can see, I have my neutrals, my greens, my reds, my oranges. Yeah, I just really love this palette. It didn't cost much to actually make this palette. I think I purchased the palette during one of the Black Friday sales, and the palette was about $10 by itself, and then each individual hot pot was like $1. So there's 2, 4, 6, 7 times 4, 28 shades. So all in all, it cost me less than $40 to make this own palette with colors that I know I like and that I'm gonna use, which is pretty much around the same as if you bought a pre-curated palette on the market with the same color story in it. So I'm definitely gonna hold on to this, excuse me, because I really do like the quality and colors of these. Next is the Jcat Santa Monica eyeshadow palette. If I could get this open. So this palette, this palette, I really like the color story. It's different, it's cool tone. I like the fact that there's an even number of mattes as there are shimmers, and there are coordinating shimmers to the mattes. So you have like your mossy olive green matte here, you have your mossy olive green shimmer right here, you have your black matte here, your black matte shimmer there. Like, I love the fact that these were coordinated like that. The quality wasn't bad, it's just I have not reached for it. I'm on the fence on whether or not I'm actually going to do something with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold on to it for now. I'm going to give myself a certain amount of time to create a look with it. If I still at that time do not reach for it, I will ultimately declutter it. But I do want to try to do something with it because I don't really have that many cool tone shades in my collection. So for right now, I'm going to hold on to this one. Next is the Jcat Beverly Hills 90210 eyeshadow palette. Dang, I don't remember these being so hard to open up. Okay, so this one is a majority shimmer palette. Aside from the 1, 2, 3 shades, there's 2, 4, 6, 4, 24 shades. 3 of them are matte. The shimmer shades are really pretty, especially this one right here. I did swatch the mattes. I swatched a couple of the shimmers. These shades I have tenfold. I do have a BH Cosmetics Club Tropicana eyeshadow palette that is merely all shimmers, and I absolutely love that one. So because of that reason, I'm going to keep the BH Club Tropicana palette, and I'm going to get rid of this one because I really don't need these many pops of gold and rose gold and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm going to get rid of this one. Next is the Jcat Sunset Boulevard eyeshadow palette. Again, very color coordinated. I love the fact that there's corresponding shimmers for the mattes, even amount of mattes, even amount of shimmers. Absolutely love these 4 shades right here. If I could bathe in these 4 shades, I absolutely would, because I absolutely love the quality and how well they perform. I'm gonna swatch them for you real quick. So those are absolutely gorgeous. Like I said, for those 4 shades alone, I would absolutely love to keep this palette, but come on now, that's being totally unrealistic, and it's just taking up space, especially for 4 shades. Like I said, the quality of this palette is really good. Too neutral for my liking, so unfortunately I am gonna get rid of it. But I would love if I could find those shades. I hope I do find these shades in my collection. That way I don't feel so bad about getting rid of this one. Wow, 2 more palettes for the first part of this video, and then we're done. So this is the Jcat Hollywood palette. This one, colors galore, absolutely love it. Has cool tones, pops of colors, it has your mattes, it has your shimmers. Same amount of shimmers as they are mattes, but for this palette, they are not corresponding colors. So as you can see, there's a yellow matte here, but no yellow shimmer. There's a really deep maroon shimmer, but just a hot pink matte. There's a deep eggplant matte, but no deep eggplant shimmer. You get the gist. Really love the quality of all the Jcat palettes. I just don't understand why many people don't even talk about them. But the palettes are really, really great. They perform great. I do love this color story. And like I said, I love the mix of the pop of colors along with the cool tones. And then this blue right here is just so pretty. Like, she is stunning. Do you see that? So of course I'm going to keep this palette. This is right up my alley. And last but not least for this first part of this video is the Jcat Melrose Avenue eyeshadow palette. And this one, corresponding mattes, corresponding shimmers, same amount of mattes, same amount of shimmers. You have your navy blue shimmer, navy blue matte. You have your dark purple matte, your dark purple shimmer. Like I said, really great quality. The thing about this one is I'm torn. This side is very neutral. This side is pink, purple, blue. I absolutely love this pink, purple, blue side. This side I could care less for. I know once upon a time I did want the Morphe, I think 39S palette that had all those purples and pinks in it, but I never got a chance to picking it up. I'm sorry, I never got a chance to get around to picking it up, excuse me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold on to this palette. I'm going to put it in a pile of stuff that I have a certain amount of time to use. If I do not use it within that time, I will ultimately get rid of it. But looking at this palette just reminds me of why I even wanted it in the first place. These shades are just really pretty, totally up my alley, call my name. These, it's like the Morphe 35 ZWAB palette because those shades are in every damn Morphe palette and you know it. So yeah, I'm just going to hold on to this one for now. So this concludes the first part of my declutter series. The eyeshadows on the left hand side are the ones I decided to declutter, and the ones on the right hand side are the ones that I decided to keep. In this video alone, we talked about 63 different eyeshadow palettes. I decided to keep these 28 over here. I'm going to declutter these 35 over here. My goal to declutter out of my whole collection is anywhere from 75 to 100 palettes. I'm left to declutter, all in all, 40 to 65 palettes in order to reach my goal. So for the first part of this series, I'm very proud of how far I came. I didn't think I was going to get as many as I did. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment down below. Let me know which palette you would have kept and which palette you would have gotten rid of. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as turn on your notifications. And I hope to see you all soon. Bye.